Good morning. Good morning. And thank you for joining to learn about the new features and changes coming next week with Eplan. Today we'll be talking about the new changes, the new features, everything you need to know from about 9:30 to 11:30. And we're going to hold the questions until the end so that we have adequate time to show you what's new. Then we'll open up at the end for questions. And you'll be able to use the raise hand feature. You'll be unmuted and then you'll be able to ask your questions. We may not be able to answer all the questions, but rest assured we will post the recording and we will answer the questions that you guys have, so you'll be able to get the full overview if you're not able to stay the whole time. So with that being said, I'll hand this over to our trusted partner of all, Mara. She's going to go through all of the new changes and features today. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As Yvette said, my name is Mara Fitter. I'm the supervisor of training for Evolve. I've worked very closely with the county for quite some time, and I'm excited to show you the new version of e-plans, or project docs as we call it. As we go through, as Yvette mentioned, make sure you jot down your questions so we can get to them so you don't forget them as we go through here. I am most excited about this for you all because it makes project docs, e-plans a lot easier. It's an easy way for you to communicate with the jurisdiction and they to communicate back with you. There's really one place where all your commentary is going to go, and you're going to see that in just a minute. So starting off, everyone should be able to see my screen. You'll notice when you go to log in that the login page looks a little bit different. Your email and password will still work the same. Just wanted to show you that the actual login page will look a little different. So let me go ahead and make that one go away. And let me come back here. When you log into Project Docs or into ePlan, you will stop first at what we call the dashboard. For those of you who are super familiar with ePlan and you know how to navigate on the home page, you may want to scroll down and click on View All Projects. For those of you who may not be as familiar, the dashboard allows you to click on the name of the project that you want to go into directly from the dashboard, and it will take you directly into that project without stopping at the home page. You also can open up and accept your task directly from the dashboard. So when you have work to do, you will be able to see a message here where it says open, and you will be able to accept that task directly from the dashboard. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that View All Projects. I forgot I already have it open here. When you come into the Project Docs homepage, there's a lot that will look familiar to you. There's some that may look a little bit different. We still will have the multiple tabs along the top. You have your home button, so if you aren't sure where you are within Project Docs, you get lost. If you click home, it will bring you right back to this home page. The tasks or the work that you need to do will be under your task tab, and you can access all of your projects, whether you have a task or not, from the Projects tab. Over on the right-hand side, there's two buttons. Recent will show you all of the projects that you've been in within the last 30 days, and all will show you all of your projects. Mine, I've been in 5 projects. I've been in all of them in the last 30 days, so there isn't a lot of difference here. But I like to show folks this because just in case, if you're not seeing what you're looking for, make sure that you're in all and not in recent. Okay. As we go through today, you can see I have multiple projects staged. Each one is at a different point where you will have work to do. This way you don't have to see behind the scenes as we go through what the jurisdiction does on their side. Excuse me. I'm going to come back to my task tab. You'll notice there is a new action column that says accept. Clicking on the accept button or clicking on the name of the task both do exactly the same thing. They will accept your task, so it will change from pending to accepted, and it will open up that e-form, that electronic form that tells you what you need to do. So either one, whichever one you prefer, when you click on it, it will open up your e-form. Okay. Now, when you get an e-form is going to be the same, right? So the process is the same, but the e-forms themselves will look a little bit different. You'll notice here, the name of the task will always be at the top of the e-form. You will also have task information as well as a tab for some resources, which give you some links to resources. You will have task instructions, and then you will have stepped tasks. So here we see we have step 1 of 4. I'll point out that there are these watch video links. So when you click on the watch video links, it will open up a new window that will show you a video that corresponds to where you are. So if you need help with the task instructions, you can click the watch video link here. If you need assistance with uploading your files, you can click the watch video link here. Each video is 3 minutes or less. I'm just going to scroll down and we're going to look at the rest of this. This is our initial task, our upload task. So step 1 is to upload our files. Step 2 gives us the option to add additional users to our project as necessary. Step 3 is we need to check some check boxes in order for us at the end, once we're finished, to upload and submit. So I'm going to scroll back up here. Now, for purposes of our training today, I'm just going to upload my files to the architectural folder. You will continue to follow the business process and upload your files to wherever you've been uploading them in the past. You'll notice I have the not allowed symbol next to a lot of these folders, but if I click the little caret, the down arrow, then I will find my drawings and documents folders within the subfolders. Okay. So I don't have anything in here, so it is currently a little empty folder. When I click on the drawings folder to select it, I now get a button that says select files to upload. If I think, oh my gosh, I just clicked the wrong button, I want to go back to that folder structure, clicking on view folders will bring me back to that folder structure, and I can choose a different folder if necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and click select files to upload. And what I'm going to call our bulk uploader looks very similar. One of the things down at the bottom is we have a message regarding the colors of the files, and I'll show you that in just a minute. This this folder also has the requirement that only PDFs will be allowed to be uploaded. If you attempt to upload a file that is not a PDF, the system will kick it out and give you a report to tell you why it could not be uploaded. But in order to upload your files, you can either click on Browse for Files or drag and drop your files into the area. And I just so happen to be at a place where I have some files. So let me go ahead and just throw some files in here. And you'll notice that each one of these files, as I put them in the bulk uploader, the color on them is orange. So the font is orange. If we look down at the bottom, it says that orange files are new uploads, which is exactly what we would expect because this is our initial excuse me, this is our initial upload. We also see next to each one of these files, we have a little green check mark that says ready to start upload, which means I did a good job. All of these are PDF files. Okay, go ahead and click on start upload, and my files will go ahead and upload. Once the files have been successfully uploaded, I'll get that little green toaster that pops up. And you'll notice now that folder is colored in, and it will show me how many files I have just uploaded. If I click the little caret, it will show me those files. If I need to, I uploaded the wrong thing, I can delete that file at this point because I have not yet submitted my task. If I have additional files that I need to upload to additional folders, I simply click on the View Folders, select the file I want to upload to, and repeat that process as many times as necessary. Also, if you've already uploaded some files to a folder and realize that you have more, you can come back as long as you still have your task, and we could upload more files into a folder that we've uploaded files into previously. Step 2 of 4. You have the ability, when you have a task, to invite users to either the applicant owner principal group or a view only group. This will allow you to add a user who will be able to view this project. They won't receive the tasks. You'll still get the task to do the work, but they will be able to view. All you need to do is click on and add their first name, last name, their email address, and click on invite user, and they will get an email telling them that they can view this project. If you decide you no longer want to let someone to be able to view, so you can look and see who is currently been added. If I wanted to remove Jay, I simply am going to select him, click on remove user, and he will be removed from that group. So Jay would no longer be able to see this project. Step 3 of 4, we have to confirm that we've uploaded single sheet landscape files and that the upload task is complete, that everything that I need to upload has been uploaded. Once I've checked those 2 buttons, you'll notice down here at the bottom, it says upload complete, submit. If I do not check one of those, I won't be able to submit. So if it's grayed out, check your check boxes. I'm going to go ahead and complete my task. And in this case, it's going to bring me back to my home page. And if you notice, that task just disappeared. It's because I don't have any more work to do in that particular project. Now, when I accepted that task, I came right in here to Project Docs to do so. I actually, and you, when you have a task assigned, will receive an email as well. And it will have a link directly in the email. And you can click on the link in the email, and it will bring you right into Project Docs. Obviously, if you're not currently logged in, it'll stop you at that login page. But once you log in, it will bring you right into the project where you need to do the task. So once you have submitted your files, the jurisdiction is going to take a look at them. If there is anything missing or anything that does not meet the submission policy, they will then send the project back to you. The next task is called the applicant re-upload task. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on the name of the task once again to open up the e-form. And again, name of the task is up at the top. I have that task information and the resources, my task instructions. Now I have 5 steps. So initial submission, you're going to have 4. Subsequent submissions, you will have 5. Resolve review comments. This is the area where you will be able to see any comments that anyone in the jurisdiction has made for you. At this point, it would be from the coordinator. When we get to the actual department review portion, excuse me, all of the reviewers' comments will be here as well. When I click the review comments button, it opens up what we call the review comments grid, and you will be able to see all of the comments. We can have unresolved comments. That's something that you need to do. Or you could also have an info only comment, and that is just what it sounds like. It's a comment that is for your information only, that does not require any kind of response from you. It just something that the jurisdiction wants you to be aware of. On the right-hand side, underneath where it's highlighted yellow, where it says, please enter your responses, this is where you will respond to the comments. A response will be required for every comment that you make, but I will point out here where the info only comment, my response box says no response required. It's grayed out. I can't type anything in there even if I would want to right now, because again, it's an info only. So the comment that the plan coordinator left for me said, please upload the site plan. Oh, darn it, I forgot to upload my site plan. So I'm going to say, sorry, uploaded now. Okay. Now, in order to save this comment, as long as I click anywhere outside of that box, it will save that comment. There is no save button on this review comments grid. When you are finished, you can click on close window, or you can click on the red X. Again, as long as you have clicked outside of where you've put your response, then you are good to go. I'll also point out that there's another watch video link right here within the review comments grid. We'll spend a little bit more time here at the department review cycle. I'm going to go ahead and close that. So now I need to upload that site plan. So this is asking me, is my file named exactly the same? In this particular case, I'm not uploading a new version of a file. I have forgotten to upload a file altogether. So I am going to click on the tab that says New Files. And this looks just like what it looked like at our initial submission. So I'm going to come into my folder. I'm going to click on the folder I need to upload to, select files to upload, browse for files. And here's that site plan that I failed to upload previously. I can click on Start Upload. It is going to upload that file that I am missing. And again, I can repeat this process. I can come back. When I click on that review comments button, I'll show you that this is in its own window. So if you have multiple screens, or you want to do a split screen between the comments in the review comments grid and your eForm or the project, you can do that as well. So, all right, I've uploaded my site plan. Again, I have that option to add or remove users. Step 4, now I need to read all of these comments and confirm that I have done what they are asking of me. And then the return button becomes available. I will point out right here, this is going to refresh on me in a second, but when the once you have accepted a task, and I will come back and show this in just a minute, the accept button turns into a button that says complete. When you have completed the task, you will no longer see that, as we just saw it disappear. The complete button, if you see a button that says complete in the action column, that designates that it's ready for you to complete, that you have accepted the task. And if you click on that button, it will open up the eForm for you. So if you have done part of the work and then you have to leave and you come back, you can reopen that eForm by either clicking on the complete button or clicking on the name of the file. At this point, the jurisdiction is going to be reviewing your files. If you would like to know where we are in that process, if you come into the project itself, there is a tab that says Status. The Status tab will give you the status of the project. And you can come in and look at this at any time. So it will tell you how long the process has been going, where we are in the process. In this case, this project, the reviewers have already done some work. They have made some comments. So I had 2 different review groups, and the site road floodplain group has 3 comments and the site road group has 5 comments. So you know that you have 8 unresolved comments that you will need to address. If you notice underneath where it says current non-completed tasks, this will show you the non-completed tasks, whether they're your tasks or the internal tasks. So if you currently do not have a task in a project, again, you can still see this. If you happen to look at the current non-completed tasks and you see that it is red, that means it is your turn to do work. Your task is the one that is outstanding, and the jurisdiction can't move forward until you complete your work. If you see that it is black, the font is black with the for the non-completed task, that means it's a jurisdiction task that's waiting to be done. At the bottom of the status tab, there is a button that says view report, as well as a link that says workflow routing slip. They both do exactly the same thing, which is open up the workflow routing slip report. This report will give you additional information. So you will be able to see who has done what task, when the task was assigned, when it was accepted, when it was completed, along with the group and the name of the user. Don't be too confused that I did a lot of the work in here. All right. So this is the workflow routing slip report. It is available to you very easily at the bottom of the status tab in a project. If you are in a project, which we are here, there is a tasks tab. So if you come into the project and want to accept your task or view your e-form, you can do that directly from within the project. You'll also see that there are some other tabs. If you want to view the files that have been uploaded, you can come in and view those files. And if you want to see a thumbnail, the little thumbnail lives right underneath this icon that says File Info History. But I'm going to come back. I can't do any work yet because I have not accepted my task. So I'm going to go ahead and accept the task. And this, again, this is the task that I will receive once the reviewers have taken their first look at my files. I'm going to minimize this quickly to show you the complete button. So again, if I have navigated away from that e-form and I want to get back to it, I can either click on complete or the name of the task, whether I've closed it or just minimized it, and it will reopen that e-form for me. Again, the name of our task, the task information and resources, our task instructions. And now, again, step 1 of 5 is we need to look at the review comments. I didn't mention this before. You might have seen the area that says export to Excel and import Excel responses. I will come back and show you all how that works momentarily. If I want to answer and respond directly within Project Docs, clicking on my review comments button, once again, will open up that review comments grid. This is where, as I mentioned before, you will see, I will see as the applicant here, every comment that has been made by a reviewer. So if it is a markup file, I'll get the thumbnail. If it is a comment, a word comment, then I will just get words. Each row has a reference number. The reference number does not imply importance. It is simply a reference number so that If you're having a conversation, you can say, hey, I have a question about reference row 5. And it makes it easy for everybody to be able to acknowledge which reference number you see. So each comment, you'll notice you will have who did, I'm sorry, the name of the group that did the review, that made the comment, the name of the reviewer, the date and time that that comment was made, and the cycle that it was made in. Now we are in cycle 1. I will point out that along the top of this review comments grid, there are multiple ways to be able to sort and filter these comments, which will come in handy in subsequent cycles when maybe you only want to see unresolved comments, or you only want to see comments from one specific cycle, not from every cycle. So I will show you that. When we have a markup comment, just like today, when there is a change mark, the change mark subject will be right here. So this one says egress, and the comment itself will be right here. If I click on the thumbnail, it will give me a static image of that thumbnail, so I can kind of see what the reviewer is talking about here. If I want to get a closer look, the name of the file is a link. If I click on the link, it will open up that file directly to the change mark that was made. Thinking about it this morning, right? So it brought me directly to this change mark, and I can see what the comment is from here as well. So if I don't have my review comments grid in front of me, I can remember what the reviewer said. Now, I can go back to my review comments grid and respond in that right-hand side, or I have this new area that allows me to respond right here on the side of the file, right? So I'll just say fixed, because I'm going to upload a fixed file. Obviously, your answers, you want to be a little bit more robust than my training responses here. But once I click on Save Response, I'll get the response updated successfully. And it's now taking me to the next change mark that was in that review comments grid. And I could answer from here, or again, if I want to go back to my review comments grid, I just clicked on the review comments button, which also is on the top of that file when I had it open. Bring that back up so you can see. So here's the file that I had open. I clicked on the review comments button. So whether I click on the review comments button from here or from the eForm, they will both do the same thing, which is open up my review comments grid. Here is that answer that I placed. So regardless of how I get to the review comments grid or the multiple different ways and places I can respond, at the end of the day, that everything is going to end up on this review comments grid. Okay. If I scroll through here, I can, if I know the answers, I can type, I can click to the next box, I can hit enter, I can hit tab, either one of those. You can't see what I'm doing here, but that is what I'm doing to get from one response box to another. Okay. There is also an area that says add comment, ask question. So if you have a comment, or more likely a question that does not involve one of the reference rows. So if you have a comment or a question that is in reference to this door issue, you would want to put that question or comment over here in the response area. If you have a comment or a question that is outside any of these, if you click on the add comment, ask question, you will get an empty box for you to add your comment or ask your question. A best practice would be, if you know the group or the name of the person that you would like to answer this question, or who the comment is targeted to, recommend that you go ahead and type that in here. So if I want this to go to Site Road Reviewer, Mara, I can type that in first, and then I can ask whatever my question goes here. Can't type this morning. And if I click on add, this will now add this as an inquiry, as a question. You'll notice I can delete this. So if I had a question and then I found the answer as I was going through things and now I don't want to send the question, I can go ahead and click on the delete and it will get rid of that row altogether. This will be your name, the name of the account I am currently logged into. Their first name is applicant and their last name is user. So again, if I want to look, by default, this opened up to all departments. If I come here and I say, hey, I only want to see the site road comments, I can filter to only see the site road comments. I could also say, I only want to see the comment type from site road. Or I only want to see the markups that came from site road. As I mentioned before, you will be required to respond to every comment. So we've seen two ways that we can respond. One is through the response column directly on the review comments grid. The second one, oh, wrong window. The second one we saw was when we had a file open, we opened it from the review comments grid by clicking on the name of the file. We can respond directly in that side panel. The third way that a response could be gathered and imported is through Excel. So in current version that you are using of Eplan, the applicant is the one who has to type in all the responses. So if you have someone else who actually should be the one providing those responses, and now they send you a letter and you have to type stuff in, this makes it very easy for you to get responses from the people who need to be providing them. And they do not have to have an account in Project Docs in order to see the comments. So if I click on the export to Excel, I have two options. I can download a single Excel spreadsheet that will list every single comment by every single department, or I can click on the multiple Excel spreadsheets and that will generate a spreadsheet per department. So in this case, we have the 2 review departments. I would get 2 spreadsheets. If you have 10 review departments, it gives you a different spreadsheet for each department. I'm going to go ahead and just click on download on that single. And mine downloaded. I am going to open this Excel file, maybe. Probably going to open on another window. So give me 1 minute here. It's working on it. All right, let me pull this over here. I believe I need to share a different screen here. And we're going to look at this. So everyone should hopefully be seeing an Excel spreadsheet at this point. When we look at the Excel spreadsheet, you'll see that the reference numbers are over on that left-hand side. It will tell you who did the review, what department, the date and time that comment was added. It will tell you the type of comment. So here's markup or comment. It will tell you the file it's related to and what that comment is. I'm going to just scroll over. This is a pretty wide document. Where it says enter your comment response here, this is where you would enter your comment response. You'll notice that the one that I had actually already responded to, that answer exported along with the Excel spreadsheet. as I continue to slide over on subsequent review cycles, if the reviewer, you send this response back and the next cycle the reviewer has an additional comment, this is where their comment would be. And so on the Excel spreadsheet, you can see the back and forth as necessary. Shows cycle and it shows the status. So these were all cycle 1. So they were either going to be unresolved or info only. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, that's really great, but how can we see the drawings? How can I actually see the markup? Any comment type that is a markup, there is a link that says view. And if I click on that, it is going to open up, in this case, it will do one of two things. It will either open up in your viewer a PDF, or like mine did, it downloaded the PDF and opened it in my PDF reader. That is going to depend on how your browser is set up. So whether it downloads it or opens it into a new tab. But here is my annotation, and trying to hover over it. Control. Okay. And over here on the right-hand side, I get the comment. Now I opened this not in Adobe. Most people use Adobe Free as their PDF reader. Whatever PDF reader that you use, this will open. So again, I don't have to be in Project Docs at all. I could be a subcontractor and you as the applicant emailed me that Excel spreadsheet. As long as I have a program that can open an Excel spreadsheet and a program that can open PDF files, I will be able to view and respond within the Excel spreadsheet. Let me bring this back up. I'm just going to type a couple things. And as long as I save this file, right? Again, I'm an external person. I can save the file, I can close it, I can email it back to you as the applicant. Just told me shared window. Let me get back to sharing here. Apologize. There we go. Hold the wrong one up. All right. Sorry about that. So again, as the applicant, the person I sent the Excel spreadsheet to has now emailed it back to me. Now, I'm probably not sitting here waiting for that to come in. So if I do not have my task currently accepted, again, I can come into the project and accept it from my home page, my task tab. Here is that same exact task. So the difference between accept and complete is complete means I have already accepted that task. Accept means it is still pending and waiting for me to accept it. So let's get back to that e-form. I've received that Excel spreadsheet. Click on the Import Excel and it will ask me to browse for the file. Mine should be here in my downloads. And I just brought in and imported that Excel spreadsheet. It will give me a readout of how many responses were replaced, how many were inserted, how many are still missing responses, which is great. If I have another a separate Excel spreadsheet that I want to import right now. If I click on import multiple, it just brings me back to the browse for file window. If I don't have anything else to upload right now, I can click close. There was a close button on that previous screen as well. I'm going to open up my review comments grid one more time here. Here are the answers that I put in from the Excel spreadsheet. Now, had I changed or added something to this comment that said fixed, whatever I imported in from the Excel spreadsheet would overwrite that. Same thing here. If I want to add, I can add additional information here. Again, as long as I click out anywhere, it will be saved. That is a couple different ways where you can answer. So either in the review comments grid, the side of the file when you open the file by clicking on the link, or by using the Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to close my eForm for just a minute, and I am going to go into this project that we're working in currently. So I'm going to click on the name of the project. Remember, this is where that status tab was. And I want to point out that there is a tab that says reviews. And this is also another place where you can access the review comments grid when you have a task. I like the pop-up windows better because I have a little bit more control and I can see a little bit more, but the content that is here is exactly the same as that content in the review comments grid when I click on the review comments button. All right. So I have responded to comments. Again, it tells me how many unresolved comments. It will tell me how many questions I've asked. It will tell me how many info-only comments that I have currently. It will also show me the number of files that have markups. So out of the 7 files or whatever that were uploaded into this project, 3 of them had markups. And our ways to respond to the review comments grid. I also get the results, the department review results. So I can see the department, who did the review, and what the status of that review is. All right, step 2 of 5. Select the version files to upload new updates. So up until this moment, files needed to be named exactly the same in order to be a versioned file for Project Docs to recognize that it's a new file with different information. Still highly recommend that you stick with the naming process that you're used to and name your files exactly the same from one cycle, one version to the next. It will make it easier for you as well as the jurisdiction, but mostly for you. But there is an option now that says, are your files named exactly the same? If you have put a 2 or revised, or you change the name of the file altogether, you can say, no, my files are not named the same. And it will give you a list of all of the files. If I want to see files just with the markups, I can do that. It will filter out. And then it says select file. When I click on select file, it just wants me to upload a file, right? So it is going to ignore any of the Project Docs rules. So whichever file I say is the new version of the old file, Project Docs will upload that as a new version. That might be fine if you have 3 or 4 files. If you have 50 files, you might not be wanting to go through Every single one of these has to be mapped individually if your files are not named the same thing. Whereas if your files are named the same thing, it's going to be the same process that we saw earlier and the same process that you're used to, in that when you say your file's named the same, you get the structure, the folder structure. Here's my drawings folder. I'm going to select files to upload. I'm going to browse for some files and get back to my files here. I'm going to come in. I got a V2 file here. I'm going to show you a couple other things. Let me browse in a couple other locations. I think this one, we'll do this one, and we will do this one. All right, so I selected 3 different files to upload so I could show you the rainbow of files here. We saw during the first cycle that all of our file names were written in orange, and that meant that they were a brand new upload. So in this case, there has not been a file called L001 landscaping in the folder that I'm currently uploading to. The red means, so if the font is red on the title name, it says that it appears to be exactly the same as a file that already exists in that folder. So why am I trying to upload it? And if I do try to upload it, Project Docs is going to ignore it because it already has a file with that name, with that exact same content in it. What you really want to see on subsequent submittals are blue. Blue designates that the file is the same name and something has changed. So it is a version file, right? Project Docs is pretty smart. When you go to upload a file, it looks at the name of the file and it looks in the folder. If the file does not exist, it's going to be orange, a new upload. If the file exists, then Project Docs looks at the content of the file. If the content is exactly the same, it's red, it's not going to be uploaded. If the content has changed, then it will be in blue, and that means it is a version file, and it will call it a new version, in this case, version 2. Now, you can do 2 things. If you go, oh man, I didn't mean to upload this, you can just click on the red X right here and remove it yourself. If you don't, and you click on Start Upload, it will give you a message that a selected file already exists, and so it just tossed it out as well because it doesn't need it. So we can see here now that I have a file here, that landscaping file is new. That A101 first floor plan now says version 2 next to it. And again, I can repeat this process as many times as necessary for the different folders, or if I need to come back to the same folder, again, I can come in and just follow the process. Right? So we've responded to the comments, we've uploaded our corrected files. We're going to come down here and say, yeah, I've done those things, and going to click on upload complete. And it says, nice try, Mara. The pop-up says that there are 5 comments that require responses, but none is specified. Please make sure you have specified a response for all unresolved comments items. So as I mentioned before, you must respond to every comment. If you don't, you will not be able to submit your task. You will get this message. So I'll show you an easy way to find out where you have missed responding. I'm going to come back up. I scrolled back up. I'm going to click on my review comments button. And like, oh my gosh, there's so many here. How am I going to figure out what I missed? Up at the top where it says responses, I'm going to say, show me every comment without a response. And now it's going to show me the comments that I missed the responses for. And I can go in and respond, put my responses in. So this can help when you have a lot of comments without having to scroll through. Using the without responses can be very helpful for you. Okay. We are going to pretend that we have successfully resubmitted, and we've successfully resubmitted that task, and the workflow has moved forward. It went back to the reviewers, it went back into the jurisdiction. They took a look at it again, and now it has come back to you again for that cycle 2 responses. So again, we have the building applicant amendment upload. In real life, this would be in the same project. The e-form, the electronic form, looks exactly the same, right? Looks the same. But now we have some additional information, right? So here, again, the resolved review comments, it tells us how many unresolved. It shows us how many files have markups. We have our review comments and our export options. We're just going to open up our review comments here. And I can come in, you can come in, and we can see that some of these comments have been resolved, some are unresolved. If I want to clear out the resolved comments because they're resolved, I don't really care about looking at them right now, I can come up to status and say, just show me unresolved. And that will make any of the resolved or info only comments disappear. They'll be filtered out for a little bit. Okay. So here, let's look at this, and you'll notice underneath that original comment that was made, there is a response and a reviewer response. So when you wrote your response over here, or however you responded, here, Excel, or alongside the file, when it went back in, the reviewer got your response. And this was the response. The reviewer can read that. If the reviewer still believes that this is unresolved, they can respond to you right above. If you need to respond again, which in this case you will because it's an unresolved, when you type your answer over here, whatever that answer may be, when this goes back in to the department, it will say responded by with your name, and this area will just grow. So your reference row, all of your back and forths, with hopefully you don't have a whole lot of back and forth, but that back and forth will all be contained within that one reference row. Okay. The rest of this is going to work the same. Again, if you want to see the markup, if you click on the name of the file, it will take you directly to that file. You may notice here, this now says cycle 2. Right? So if I only want to see cycle 1 unresolved, I can do that as well. So cycle 2, those were new comments that came in during cycle 2. I can just look at cycle 1 as we move forward. If I just want to see cycle 2 and I want to see all comments from cycle 2, I can do that. Again, I only want to see site road comments from cycle 2. So lots of different ways that this information can be filtered for you, that you can filter it for yourself. Okay. In order for your review to move forward, all of the comments must be resolved by the reviewer, and then you will no longer get the same task, right? So we come in, we'd respond, we'd upload our corrected files. Right? Again, we can add additional users or remove them as necessary. We complete our check marks and we upload. Hopefully the next time everything is resolved. If not, it will come back to you again and we can repeat that process as necessary. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one. In real life, we're going to complete the task. If the task is sitting in your task list, you have not completed it. So if you come in and you see something in the task list, you may think you are done, but unless you have submitted it, it will still be sitting here and the jurisdiction can't do anything until you submit. Okay. And again, how can I submit? Well, I could click on my complete button or the name of the task. It will open up the e-form. I need to do everything for each one of those steps. And then I can complete the task and it will go back into the jurisdiction. Okay. All right. So now, congratulations, everything has gone through. The reviewers have approved everything, and it is time to download your approved plan set. I'm going to come back to that dashboard that we saw earlier, where it says the project docs dashboard. I'm going to refresh this since this has kind of been sitting here on me for just a minute. So, so now we can see, I wanted to show you here, we have two projects that I currently do not have a task in, right? Jurisdiction is working. I have a task where I'm still within my time, right? I'm not overdue. And so I could click on open and it's going to open up that e-form right here. And it's a little hasty there. Or I have the option here on where it's red. That means it's overdue, right? Down here at the bottom, I have a project and the description says download. But you'll notice over on the right-hand side, it's green. I don't really have a task, but this will allow me to download my plans directly from the dashboard if I want to. When I click on that, it will bring up this access project files. I click on that and it will take me into the project to download my files. That's one way. Another way is when I am in Project Docs and I click on the home page and I go to projects under status, when a project is ready for the files to be downloaded, you will see a little download arrow in the status column. And you can click on the name of the status or the download arrow, and it's going to give us this same pop-up box that we just saw. We click on Access Project Files. It is going to bring us into the project, into the Files tab. We can make our way to the folder where our approved files are, in this case, approved permit set. These are the stamped files that are approved. To download them, if you want to download all of them, the easiest way to do that is to click the button up at the top. If you only want to download some of them, you can. I'm going to click on all of them. And there's a download icon right here where it says download checked files. And they have now been compiled into a zip file for me. I can click on download zip and it's going to download to my local drive, and my approved permit set is now in my on my local drive, and I can do what I want with them. So that is each step in the workflow and kind of the new look and feel of Project Docs. The biggest thing is that review comments grid where you're going to be doing your communicating back and forth. And again, where if you have a markup file, it makes it so easy to be able to click on the name of that file in that grid and be able to see what the comment is directly from there.